Achha, guys, we are into the second phase of this uh, locating the probabilities and then finding the z-score from a normal from a standard normal distribution table. Okay? Before I take you into that, we need to recall that when you had probability z is less than a, this was taken as phi of a. When you had probability z is greater than a, this was to be determined as 1 taken as 1 minus phi of a. Then you have seen that if there was z is less than minus a, that was which was phi of minus a, and that was equal to um, this was equal to 1 minus phi of a. Then you had probability z is greater than minus a, and this was directly written as phi of a. Then you had probability z is uh, this z is between a and b, so this was written as phi of b minus phi of a. Okay, now we are going to since we have to see how to go uh, backwards or find the inverse of these probabilities. So you must be familiar with all of this once again. Okay, now look at this three part A, question number three part A. You have to find the, it says find the probability that Z is less than K, and that is 0.9087. Okay, so you will write this probability Z less than K as phi of K first of all, which is now this is 0.9087. So this K would be phi inverse of 0.9087. Okay, so let's go to the table and see where do we have this probability. Now we shall be jumping inside this table. Here are the probabilities and see where do you have 0.9087. So 0.9087, 0.90. Okay, I have this 0.9082 over here. Okay, and if I add this 5 into it, this would become 0.9087. So I'll pick this 1.3 from here, and then I have uh, this 3 from here, and then I have this 3 from here. So this K is going to be 1.333. Okay, this is 1.3, 1.3, this 3, and then this 3. That is giving us a probability that is 0.9087. And if you want to see this on the diagram, so this would mean that here, if it was 0 over here, your 1 is here. So this is somewhere here, which is 1.333. So all this area is equal to 0.9087. That is what you were given. So you have found this z-score, which is 1.333. Okay, guys? Any question about this? Hmm?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's go back to the book and see, I mean, the exercise and try one more question from there. Okay, now look at this um, um, C part. Now in the C part, we have been given, एक second, मैं इसको जरा, let me clear this, okay? Okay, uh, so we go into the C part, 3C. So I have probability Z is, people are getting in late, okay? Whenever someone gets in, you know, this writing becomes blur. So let me write this again. Probability Z is greater than 0.2743. So you see, we'll be using this rule from here that Z, we don't like this greater than sign. So you will change that. Uh, oh, क्या लिख रहा हूँ यार मैं? Just a minute. Just 1 minute. This is people are entering late, so I'm getting confused. Okay. So we were given probability Z is greater than K, and that was equal to, come on, yaar. Okay, that was equal to 0.2743. This is the question with us. Okay, so using this rule over here, we have the greater than sign. So I need to change this greater than sign with the less than sign. So this will now become 1 minus phi of k, that is 0.2743. So this phi of k is 1 minus 0.2743. So this phi of k is going to be 0.7257, and therefore your k is going to be phi inverse of 0.7257. So let's go to the table and see where do we have this. So where to find this point 5 to 0.7257 from here. 0.7257. Oh, I have exactly the same value over here. So that is 0.60. That's it. So this K is going to be 0.60. You can write a zero over here if you want. If you want to keep this correct to three significant figures. Yes, guys, any question here? Hmm. I'll do one more part where you will be using this. Uh, you will be finding this probability from the table, and then I'll be discussing the typical cases where you have to find the probabilities from the table. Okay, I mean the Z score from the table. Now let's see if we can do that. Um, Acha, thoda sa, I think I should start discussing those typical cases here. Guys, the thing is, please see that. Uh, Let me go to that whiteboard and then discuss this thing here. देखिए बच्चों, a good student always uh, predicts कि यार the value that he's asking, if that is a positive value or a negative value. Now suppose uh, you guys know that this is 0, here it is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is -1, this is -2, and this is -3. There's a line of symmetry in a normal curve. Half the area, this area is having, this is equal to zero point 0.5, and this area is equal to zero point 0.5, and all the values lie within three standard deviations from the mean. You see three standard deviations from the mean towards the right side, three standard deviations towards the left side. Okay. Acha. Now suppose if the question is find the probability Z is less than A, and that is, let's say, 0.8743. Okay. And then there is a question that find the probability Z is less than B, and this is 0.4216. A good student is always able to predict that if this A or this B, if this is really a positive or a negative value. Okay. Look at this A over here. It says less than A. So if I show you on the diagram here, so I'm going to say that, okay, this A is going to be somewhere over here. Only then all this area is going to be more than zero point 0.5. You see, this 0.8743 is more than zero point 0.5. So it has to be towards this side, less than this. Okay? Look at this. Z is less than B. Okay? Z is less than B. If you are using your mind here, you should not suppose that this B is anywhere over here. Look at this. If you keep your B over here, is it possible that all this area is 0.4216? Please tell me yes or no. Is it possible that all this area is less than 0.5?
No, sir.
Naina. So this means the B has to be somewhere over here, and it is basically a minus value because now your area is much less than zero point 0.5. Anna. So you would rather um, say, okay, this is going to be, the area looks like this. So this B is basically a negative value. ठीक है अच्छा सपोज यू इग्नोर दिस एंड यू से नहीं यार क्या सर की बात भी ना सर तो हमें स्टोरियां सुनाते रहते हैं so let's write phi of b is 0.4216 and then you say okay b is phi inverse of 0.4216 look what will happen just remember this 0.4216 I'm going to take you to the that book now look at this do you have anywhere this 0.4216 hmm? Where is that
The value start from
0.4216
point 5.
yeah, very good. You see, this starts from point 0.5 because this is basically showing you the positive half. This is related to all this, okay? So this is, you will not be able to find this phi inverse of 0.4216 from the table, okay? So this means, guys, you have to be really vigilant. You have to see that, oh yes, yeah, this is much less than 0.5 so this has to be towards the negative side. So how would you find this probability over here? Then you will say, okay, if I have to find this, then just 1 minute, let me clear this. Okay, you would say, okay, if I have to find this probability, then I would say let this b is equal to any minus constant you can keep here. Let's you put that equal to minus k. Okay, so this now becomes phi of minus k that is equal to, this is the step that you guys have to do, okay? Phi of minus k is 0.4216 and this will be 1 minus phi of k that is 0.4216 and this phi of k is going to be 1 minus 0.4216 and this is going to be phi of k is going to be 0.5784 yes and then this k is going to be phi inverse of 0.5784 and then you will find this from the table let's find that quickly 0.5784 0.5784 let's see where it is 0.75 so what was this 0.7 come on 0.7584
So
बच्चों
0.5784.
0.5784 0.5784 0.57 0.57 yeah I had to take this one okay 84 I need 31 to be added so I'll keep guys you have to take the nearest value okay so this becomes 0.5785 okay so this is 0.198 this is 0.198 okay so this k is 0.198 therefore you would say that my b is going to be minus 0.198 is this clear to you guys hmm
Yes, sir.
बच्चों yes अच्छा अब देखिए one more example for the greater sign please be very alert and try to respond quickly now you can you must be able to draw this bell shaped curve very quickly अच्छा guys देखिए now suppose you're given that probability z is greater than a and that is 0.8614 who will tell me that if this a is positive or negative
Positive.
it is positive anyone else who was I think this is Zara Hussain who said that this is positive Zara is was that you
Sir, it's negative.
Ji, sir.
Acha. Now look at this Zara now suppose you're saying that this is positive so you're going to assume that this is somewhere over here let's say you are saying this is a is over here so Zara bete do you think that this area can be 0.8614. Hmm?
Sir, negative hoga if we see
Ha,
the
so you
right
have
side.
figured this out. Okay, if it is over here, if it is like this, then all this area has to be, only then this can be 0.86. Remember, all this area over here is zero point 0.5. All this area over here is zero point 0.5. Okay. So if it is, it says there is a greater than sign, guys. This is not a rocket science being discussed here. Okay. So this greater than sign, this already you know that all of this is zero point 0.5. So it is 0.8614. So this should be somewhere over here, Hannah. Only then this can be more than this zero point 0.5. Okay, so you will assume that this A is going to be here. You will suppose that this is going to be a minus value. Let's say you will suppose this is minus B. So you would say, okay, let your A is minus B. So a good student will always determine if this is positive or negative. Now, when this is A is equal to minus B, then this question would become probability Z is greater than minus B is going to be 0.8. Okay, so I was telling you, okay, this was a question before the interruption. So we have discussed this, that this has to be somewhere over here. We can suppose that there's minus B, which has all this area over here. Okay, so this minus B, you will write this as probability Z is greater than minus B. So you must remember that Z is greater than minus B, same as phi of B. Because if you have minus B over here and you have B over here, so the area after this minus B is same as area before this B, using the concept of symmetry. I hope you remember this from your first class about this finding the probabilities from this table. Okay, so now this becomes phi of B, that is 0.8614, and your B is phi inverse of 0.8614. We'll find this from the table. Let's go back to the table there, 0.8614. Let's see where it is, 0.8614, 0.8614. Okay, this is the area. Yeah, 0.8599. So I'll take, you can take any one of these two. So I'll be taking this 16. Okay, this will give me this 0.8599 plus this, that will be 0.8615. That is very near to that 0.8614. So guys, you have to take the nearest value, and it is not possible to find the exact value. You have to take the nearest value. Okay, so this is going to be 1.087, 1.087. Okay, this is 1.087. If B is 1.087, then you had supposed here, I think I missed that, I wrote it in when before that interruption, that you will say let this A equal to minus B. So you put the value of B over here. Therefore, this A is going to be minus 1.087. Okay. Now, let me give you one more situation where you have to determine if your Z score is positive or negative. Now, suppose you have probability Z is greater than A, and this time, let's say this is going to be 0.2376, 0.2376. So is this A showing a positive value or a negative value? Bacho, please tell me. Is it showing a positive value or a negative value?
Positive value.
Yeah. If you look at this, bacho, just draw this diagram quickly, mere bacho. Oh, sorry. This is not acceptable at all. Let's draw this again. Okay. So, okay. So it says 0.2376. You suppose this is going to be here. So is this a valid representation of this A? Yes, bacho? है ना? This is
Yes,
less
sir.
than zero point 0.5 and this can be over here. So now remembering the basic rules here, that if you have probability Z is greater than A, so that is going to be 1 minus phi of A. ठीक है? अच्छा, for example, by mistake you ignore this greater than sign है ना, and you write it as phi of A, that is 0.2376. So remember this in on this table, phi inverse of 0.2376 does not exist. Okay, this does not exist because your table, let me show you again so that you guys see that. Look at this, your table starts from this 0.500. Can you see that? The very first value is 0.500. So how can you find that value which is less than zero point 0.5, which is in this case, it is 0.2376. Okay? So, uh, so now you have to change this with 1 minus phi of A, that is 0.2376, and this phi of A is 1 minus 0.2376. This is going to be phi of A is going to be 0.7624. 0.7624. Okay, so this A is going to be phi inverse of 0.7624. So your A is, let's find that from the table, 0.7624. 0.7624, let's see where it is. 0.7624, 7611, and this is a much bigger value, 0.7642. So we need 0.7624. I need to add an 11. So this is the nearest over here. So this is going to be 0.714. 0.714. Okay. This is 0.714. 0.714. Therefore, that is the, like, this is the value. There is no therefore. Okay, this is 0.714. I'll be taking you guys to the exercise now, okay, and you will try these basic questions and then we'll move on to some I mean trickier parts. Okay, so guys, before I take you to this I and J part, please try these parts, the first 8 parts of this question number 3. I'll be discussing the trickier parts in the next segment. Okay, so see you guys in the next segment.